Well, hello, poor, pitiful, sad people that have to deal with YouTube. I suppose I've spilled petrochemicals on my car. Anyway, I'm normally much happier than this. Welcome. This is Campaign Terrain. I'm not normally like this on camera, and tonight I was going to do something really chill, and now I'm so. Anyway, welcome. If it is your first time, I am glad to have you here. If it is your 100th time, I am glad to have you here. This is Campaign Terrain. I am your host, That Guy Cross. I am normally much calmer and cooler and better collected on camera, but whatever. Okay. Yeah, and Wheel of Death already bouncing. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. I had to go connect, and it had logged me out. And not only logged me out of YouTube, had logged me out of my streaming. Anyway, tonight, it's going to be super simple. I had a really crazy week anyway. I was already planning on doing the same build tonight that I'm going to do tonight. But tonight it will be a benefit to me because, well, it's easy peasy, not difficult thing to do. So that is good. But yeah, it's been a crazy day. Crazy week, excuse me. The day's been okay, but the week has been crazy. I've had to repair one of my computers 3 times, but it's working. Not this one, not the one I'm on, different one. But when I get back into filming things and having to edit them, it is the one I edit on, so it does need doing. I had to fix the gasket that goes into the garbage disposal was messed up and was leaking. Something else was a problem and was actually backed up. I was cleaning that and then had to take off the piece leading into the garbage disposal. When I put it in, I realized that the gasket was torn up, but it was already there before, so I reconnected it, and of course it was leaking. Had to go get anyway, it's a whole thing. That's fixed too. I had a problem with some lights. They're fixed too. I have a problem with... There was something else. Whatever. So now I'm going to build some little trees. And you're going to watch me. So in a minute, I'm going to switch to my right-hand camera. That's the one which I've had to move because of tonight's reconfiguration. So that's going to involve the wiggle cam while I get it rearranged. I always have to switch that camera and then turn the light on so it doesn't blind y'all. So yeah, I'm just going to basically jump right into it. I've had a crazy week, and building something simple like trees is a good thing. I did remember to turn on the hot glue gun ahead of time. So sometimes I have to just sit here and twiddle my thumbs and wait for it to heat up. Never comes off like that. I find things to occupy my time talking to y'all about. But yeah, sorry, I'm a little discombobulated, but let me get in the flow, and I'll be in a better mood here in a second. Let me switch cameras first before I turn on the light. I'm gonna switch cams. Then I'm gonna turn on the light. There's gonna be a big flash here for just a second, then it'll calm down. Let there be light. Phew. Yeah. Then there's something else. Oh, then I was gonna say, let me check the chat real quick and see what y'all have been saying. Okay, so Listen Collected said first, but I imagine that's why somebody was texting me probably to say, hey, are you going on tonight? Because YouTube was going on. But literally I got that text and then immediately connected after many things. So yeah, that's exactly what I thought it was. So to answer that question for the person that texted, yes, I everything's fine now. Kept trying to update. Yet no, it's good. Sorry about that. All right. Yeah, and it's already telling me that I'm having a bad connection as well. But that's not YouTube's fault. That's Comcast's fault. Okay, so I have a bunch of twigs. I actually have a whole bigger box somewhere, but these will work to get us started. Some of these have all been dried for more than a year. They're good. They've been sitting in a box for probably 2 and a half years, because I got these all right in spring a while back. I'm not doing the maths. Oh, it's December 7th. For people who pay attention to such things, it's December 7th, the day that will live in infamy. I know that we are having some infamous times of our own. just know that some of us are still paying attention to what happened back in the day. And just for all the people that had to go through all of that, most of whom have passed now from age, but it's a big deal to me. I have lots of members of my family who were in the military, many that served in World War II. So it's a big deal. So today is December 7th. That's a thing. Okay. So I'm going to try to cut some of these flat enough that I can stick them down easily. This one's not. This one was broken off with a branch. I could try it this way, but I don't really. I am going to leave the lichen and stuff on here. I don't care about taking it off. But if I put it this way, then the lichen's right at the bottom, and I don't want to do that. I'm gluing straight onto a piece of cardboard. Afterwards, I will peel this off. I will glue this where I want. Then I will fill out the bases. You'll never know that there's like a little torn piece of cardboard on the bottom of the hot glue. For people who can't stand hot glue, this is not going to be the episode for you. It is my glue go-to of choice, and it is definitely the best for this kind of tree making. And I could cut this with a saw. Actually, I think I'm going to. That piece is a little soft. Or I could just grab another stick, but while I'm here, might as well, dance with the one who brung you. So, yeah, I'm going to cut this off flat. Then I'm going to glue it down. And then I'm going to glue a couple others to it to sort of bulk out a trunk. I may just use this trunk and just glue some branches on it. Somewhere I have some twigs that are branchier. These in this box seem to not be so much. So I will literally need to branch out in what I'm doing. That's not even a pun. That's literally what I'm doing. Okay, so now we've got it flatter, and I save a lot of things for scrap and rubble. I don't think I'm going to save these, but let's put it there for now. While I am thinking about it, please like, share, subscribe, and at the end of the video, refresh it and hit comment. You shouldn't be able to hit comment yet because I'm still live, but later on it should. So please do that. I'm going to leave this brick out here because I'm going to need to cut some other branches. Alrighty. Now, I've got some that branch like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take things like this, and we have to talk about scale again. Now, with trees, it is very weird. Our little guys are this tall, and that's about 2 inches from the ground underneath his base to the tip of his pokey. Technically, it's a glaive, I think, a battle axe, halberd, whatever that one is. So he's about 1 7/8 inches. I cannot do the metric on that right now in my head. I'm going to say that that's 3.5 centimeters, give or take. So I want my branches to be at least high enough that you can take one of these and sort of tuck it under a branch, so as if it's hiding or under cover from the rain or whichever. And that's a good height for comparing to this guy. And I'm just going to glue this thing with all the, and that's a good height for comparing to this guy, and I'm just going to glue this thing with all the branches to it because it's basically going to be hidden. Branches to it because it's basically going to be hidden once it's all done, because there'll be greenery and a canopy over it. I'm not making dead or scary or creepy trees tonight. So hot glue is definitely the one to go to on this. Everything else, you're going to have to lash things in place and wait for white glue to dry and all that kind of stuff. I'm not doing all that. I suppose you could possibly do this with super glue, but I have really bad luck, horrible track record with super glue, so I am not doing that. This one is skating all over the tree. That took the glue a little longer to dry than I want, but now it's done. That's it. That's all there is to it. I'm going to take that. I'm going to put a couple little pieces that stick out back here at different angles. Actually, I think that'll be about perfect, that one. So I am going to attach that. I'm going to cut this one off at a strange angle. You will see why in a moment. Don't worry, my fingers are out of the way. I hope. Let's hope. This is a very strange angle. And this saw likes to bind anyway, so I don't know that a more expensive or higher quality saw would make any difference for what I use it for. But this thing always tries to bind if I try to do anything more than just the slightest cut at a time. So I am going to take that and see if I can snap that. Nope. And guess we're just going to keep going. All right. I'm asking a little earlier than normal tonight, but while I'm thinking about it, anybody out there crafting tonight, or are you just hanging out and watching me complain about YouTube? All right. We're going to go crazy with the nippers then. These are not nippers. These are diagonal cutters, which I usually call dikes. Long-term usage in construction and electrician stuff. I was never an electrician, but I did work with a lot of them on construction projects I used to do. So, like I said, I'm going to kind of keep some of the bigger pieces for the rubble, but those may get tossed as well. I may not end up keeping this. Okay, so that should be at a better angle for me to get that to come out from the tree a little. And I'm just going to hot glue it on like that. And then this one's done and ready to go. I'm going to stick it onto the cardboard so that it's ready to go for me to do the rest of the stuff I need to do to it. I'm going to make about 8 or 9 of these tonight. Whatever I can basically fit on here without them bumping into each other. So it may actually be less than that. And then, yeah, like I said, this is just a chill stream tonight. I did that off camera because I'm a professional. Yeah. Okay. And that's going to give me plenty of branches for the other thing to hold on to and to make it look, is tree-y a word? Tree-y. Vegetative? I don't know. That leaves me with a weird overhang. I think it's going to be brittle, so I'm just going to squidge some glue under there. And all of this will be covered because eventually I'm going to paint this with either a brown or gray base coat and then hit it with a tan dry brush. By the way, trees typically aren't actually brown. Pines and firs and stuff can be, but deciduous trees are typically some shade of gray. I have just glued myself to the tree. That's awesome. Awesome. At least it wasn't hot. It was just still sticky. Okay, so you're going to take that and blub a bunch on there. That's probably way more than I needed. But part of this will become the base of the tree when I eventually transfer it off of the cardboard onto the... Wow, it is still sticky on the branch. I am still gluing myself to the tree. Okay, so I may have to hold this for a minute because it seems to be staying gooey longer than I expected. So, oh wow, y'all are talking. Tech Gremlins on Warpath. Yes, they are. The Tech Gremlins are not nice tonight, and it's entirely YouTube's fault this time. Okay, seems that at some point chat disconnected and then reconnected. Buffering issues. Yep, I've got buffering issues on my connection side, and setting up the stream software issues on the YouTube side. Yeah, it's been a night. It's been a night. Ah, wrapping presents. That's a good thing to do tonight. That's almost like crafting. I mean, using festive papers and hitting them with glues and tapes. Probably not glue. Tapes and stickies from no, tree falling over. Timber. All of the if you're sticking bows on them, stuff like that. That's almost like crafting. Folding outfeed table attachment in place on a table saw. That's excellent. Those, it doesn't seem like, oh, it's just a table thing that sticks off. They are so useful. They are absolutely worth their weight in gold. That's probably not true, but they're worth their weight in, aluminum and ball bearings, roller bearings. If you got the roller kind, I don't know if you got the roller kind or just the smooth kind. Either one is good. Okay. Okay. I've been going for 21 minutes minus the technical errors at the beginning. And I almost have one tree trunk done, almost. Soon. Trademark. Oh, hey. That one's cool. I can just attach some pieces to that one. For that, I think I'm going to get my little roto tool, which may be really loud. And I don't have an easy way to mute this mic, but I don't think it's going to be too loud. And even if it is tough, y'all are going to have to put up with it. So, roto tool. Put those bits out of the way. So I'm willing to listen, but Buffering again. I think it just died for a second. But now, of course, it says I have excellent... whatever. Okay, as I was saying, I am not sponsored by Aldi, but this came from Aldi, and I am very happy with it. So if you get a chance to get one of these, they sometimes have them and sometimes don't. They look identical in Europe with their plugs and here in the United States with our plugs, and probably Canada is similar to ours. Either way, I have heard that the UK ones work well, the EU ones work well, and I have never had a complaint about this one. So I need to get a drill bit. This is the drill. I need the bit, and I need one that'll fit in this chuck, which I don't think this will. I think I'm gonna have to switch collets. By the way, this thing I'm unscrewing is called a ferrule, and has got apparently the world's longest thread. There we go. And this piece I'm taking out is called a collet. And together, this piece, which doesn't really move or do anything, is just there for the whole thing from this point forward is called a chuck. How Chuck got so lucky as to have his name slapped on here, I have no idea, but go Chuck. Are you the right size? Indeed. Or you're the right enough size. He's not Mr. Right, but he's Mr. Right now, a joke in there somewhere. Wow, that really doesn't want to stick onto there. Okay, there we go. Now, when you put the ferrule on, don't do that. Yeah, that's fine. Doesn't matter if it's short, because I'm only drilling it in a little bit. But I think that's a little bit too short, so let's pull that out. Stop sliding into the machine. There it goes. Okay. Wow, that is all kinds of wiggly. Okay. Got a little wrench thing here that'll tighten that up. There we go. There's a little button you push to stop it spinning while you do that. And hopefully it's got enough battery. Oh, yeah, we're good. Okay, so I hope this isn't too loud, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill 3 little holes here. And then I am going to take some pieces like this and attach them onto there. And I'm going to do that using pieces of... come on, move. Of cut paper clip. You can use any wire that's rigid, but paper clips tend to be, the term is case hardened, but you don't need to know that. So that is what I am doing. I will also be taking this and drilling a hole into this part and 2 others. That's actually more, that's kind of overkill. Okay, we're gonna take this one and nip it like, come on. This is, you would think that it would be more brittle and easier to cut after being in a box for almost 3 years. Ow! Okay, sorry about that. Just yelled in your ear. Hope nobody's on headphones. Consider this your warning after the fact. This Cross is a jerk. All right, another piece in here. No, let's not do that one. Let's go with, no, I don't have another twiggy, branchy outy piece, so we're just going to take a short-ish twiggy piece. Okay, and cut some more off with the thing. Sorry, warning, I might yell again. Oh, you weren't. Okay, I have no idea where that piece went. I was not expecting it to fire off like a rocket. Okay, now I'm going to take these 3 pieces, drill holes in these 3 stubbies, attach those 3 pieces to those 3 stubbies, and then I'm going to use hot glue where they butt up against each other because, like I said, it's all going to be hidden afterwards. So this might be loud. Apologies. I don't know if y'all can see that smoke. I think my drill bit is dull. So, yeah, that's fun. I can certainly smell that smoke. That reminds me of a song, but it's about a horrible topic, so I won't go into it. But there's a song about a smell that's going through my head right now. I think if I kept doing that, I would probably start a campfire, because that's exactly how you do those things with the little sticks. That, anyway, neither here nor there. Now I'm going to take my piece of paperclip. Lost the complete word for a minute. I'm going to figure out about how deep that hole goes in each of those connecting pieces. Shush. I know how y'all are. I know what y'all are just thinking. Okay, then I'm going to take that and, okay, so that needs to go about there. And now I'm going to take glue, try to get it into the hole, and then find the piece I just cut off that I almost lost. That, push that onto there, into there, not onto there. Okay, now the piece I just had in my hand. Yep, I think I'm going to put this other one. Okay, so more glue on this one. And then wish that down onto that one. And I don't really know how to spin it. I think I basically just want it so the branches are out so I can get good coverage. But yeah, that's really all I'm doing with it. It's not nothing. There's nothing major to any of this. I'd use a sharper drill bit than I did. Other than that, it's not rocket surgery. All right, buffering issues, Wheel of Doom. Finally got the folding out field. Okay. The semi-pixelator, it's just OSB with some folding locking hinge brackets. Oh, that's nice. So it's like attached to the side of the saw itself? Or is it from like attached to like a workbench? Oh, yeah. You can't decide if it sounds like a harmonica or a dental work. It really sounds like, to me, almost like a drone flying, like the sound of those motors, but there's no prop on it, so I don't know why it sounds like that. I have a friend that absolutely can't. When I used to do, I used to do a whole carpentry thing where I did where I built custom thrones. Yeah, those kind of thrones. Big kingly queenly things. But he used to come to the wood shop. But if I started to pull out the roto tool, he would leave the room. He would go outside. He's like, I'm going to go hang outside for a minute, because the sound to him does sound like a dental drill. And he's like, yeah, I can't take that. I'm out. Which is funny, because he has had dental work done and has put up with the sound while he was getting it done. But it's not his. He's like, I'm not putting up with the sound if I'm not actually benefiting. I'm like, fair. Okay, I'm getting a lot of the hot glue strings tonight, but those don't bother me. I usually just pick them off or whatever. By the time I paint, most of the stuff I paint doesn't need to be smooth. So by the time I end up painting it and covering it with textures and whatever else, the talking about texture. What was I saying about texture? Oh, the glue, the strings get slicked down with the paint and held in place, and you never see them, or they are completely, or I pull them off somewhere in the meantime, either intentionally or accidentally. But if you have those stringers on something and you were really irritated at it, you want to get rid of all of them at once. Just take a heat gun or a hairdryer. On a hairdryer, you want it on the hottest temperature. On a heat gun, yeah, they're all different. Take you take your chances. But just go over the whole piece, and they'll just shrink up and disappear. They'll just go away. So there's no difficult. It's not difficult to get rid of the wispy bits. You just gotta take that one extra little step. It's a little bit annoying for me sometimes because my heat gun has a cooldown cycle. So I'll turn it on for like 2 seconds to get rid of a bunch of wisps on something and turn it off, and it stays on for 2 minutes while it cools itself down. But other than that, okay. So this one has a much flatter, wider base, so that's going to hold itself. I don't have to sit there and babysit it like I did the first tree. All right, now these other trees are going to be, they don't actually have the little boughs and stuff like this one did. So I think what I'm going to do is just take some of pieces like this and just glue them onto the sides so that they stick out, because like I said, once that's covered in the vegetation, you'll never see them. The only thing I'm going by, I'm playing this totally by, well, not by ear, by eye, is I just want to make sure that all the branches are high enough that they clear the miniatures so that I can stand a miniature under the edge of the tree if I want. Now this one has a piece sticking out, and it is right at essentially a convenient height at the very bottom. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to sit this branch right atop that when I glue it. So I'm just going to run the line of glue up this way and glue this branchier branch here. A little bit on that bottom part. And now I always use my glue, not always, but I usually use my hot glue on the lower temp. I have a dual temp gun. Blah, 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 easy for me to say. So I do have it on the lower temp. So it doesn't take very long for the stuff to set up at all. If you're doing it with the high temp, it may take you longer to do it. Now I'm putting a little bit more in here just because I want to make sure that it's not wiggly or there's anything that'll snag on anything. So I'm sort of filling the gaps with hot. So that's one side of that. And then this other one is already sort of angled, but it's angled at the wrong end. That's the top part. But like I said, this is not going to show once the vegetation's on. So I'm going to use that angled end to my benefit and sort of glue this in this way, and that will be the end of this tree. So I need to figure out where that glue line needs to run. That's going to run at a slight angle. It's going to run up here and then cut across this way. And you only need to get close enough because the hot glue is going to be forgiving while it is still warm and malleable. By the way, I know I've said this before, but just so people know, hot glue does not dry. Hot glue was never wet. Hot glue was melted, and then it hardens, congeals, sets up, whichever. Okay. Now, hopefully, that base is flat enough. It is. So I will now take that and figure out where I'm not going to run into that tree. Put down another little splidge there and plunk that tree into it and hold that long enough for it to start to stand up on its own. Yep, I'm going to lose half my viewership tonight. He started off the whole thing just complaining about YouTube, and then he started to turn on that damn drill and made all that noise. Yep. I'm that guy. See, I almost want to use that, but it's too low. The things are going to be in the way of Mini, but by like half an inch, 1 centimeter. Actually, half an inch is 12 point something centimeters. But, I mean, millimeters. Sorry. So I can do metric. I promise I can. Okay. So we're going to take that one and that one. I do have some branchier ones in here. I just couldn't find them at first. There's another one. Just, oh no, fell over on timber. Okay, stick that back in while it's still a little squidgy. Hopefully that'll stick. Okay. Wow, that one's chonky. I like it. Stick some things to that. We'll keep that one out. There's another good just base I can glue to. That one's probably good, and this one's close low enough down that I actually kind of like how that looks. So that's almost. I need to sand that one, but I think I can work with that. And let's grab another big, thick, and chonky one. Okay, make sure that stands up straight enough. Yep, we're good there. Okay, so let me sand this one. Somebody one time while I was doing the hand sanding said that noise bothered them. So, well, just know that I'm about to use sandpaper, but it shouldn't be too loud. That is exactly chocolate brown. Okay, so now that will stand and we'll have what looked like, sometimes tree roots actually look like that. So that's what I'm saying. Natural look to it. So then we're going to take that one and we're going to take a couple of these smaller branches and just glue them to the sides of it. As I said, all of that will be missing in or be hidden when it's said and done. Or you can go over the trunks with more hot glue and all that. But these are designed to be on the table. These aren't trying to be pretty. These are just trying to be there. So once it's painted and all of that, they disappear because there's going to be foliage on top of this and it's going to hide it. I said foliage because I have a redneck dialect. Foliage. Wow. I know y'all don't care if I say things wrong, but I care if I say things. It's a holdover from my tragic youth. That's not really a joke. Of learning English from a strict teacher. So it still hangs over like, oh, I said that wrong. That's my fault. That's me. I got a story for you. 2 monks of the Zen persuasion, I don't know exactly which kind, walking along, and they get to a corner of an intersection, and it's a mud road, and there are wood walkways. And so this nicely dressed woman is trying to figure out how to get across the thing without messing up her dress or whichever, and she seems to be fretting a little. And one of the monks picks her up and carries her across the street and plunks her down on the other walkway without, so she never gets her feet in the mud, whichever. And she's like, very grateful and thanks him, and they both go on about their day. So he and the younger, less experienced monk are walking along. And after a while, and clearly the younger monk is feeling some distress over this. And the older monk finally says, "What is it, my young brother? What troubles you so?" And he says, "We are not supposed to touch the mortal type, worldly beings. We're supposed to stand aloof of them. And you carried that woman." He said, I carried her across the street. You have carried her for 20 minutes. And I always thought that was kind of an interesting way to look at it. So I am still carrying my horrible English lessons many decades later because, well, whatever. All right, so this one's going to be kind of, I need to get some branches going out at a strange angle. So I'm just going to I need the foliage to be bigger. So I'm going to just make this part look not natural at all, but I promise it'll all look good once these are all done and on the table. I will eventually finish these and have pictures of them on the Discord. So links to the Discord in the down below is down there. So yeah, if y'all would come hang out at the Discord, that would be awesome. Okay, I wanted to branch out more, and this one's kind of not really going to work for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, no, actually, I'm not. I'm going to take the branch, and I want this branchy-er. So I'm going to take this other piece and try to figure out how to get it more out from the middle. And I think that's a good plan there because I've got 2 good spots I can hit with glue. And I will do that right now. Off camera like a pro. And then I will take that and put that at that angle I said. And then once that glue has set, I will, I like that angle. There we go. Oh, I've glued myself to another tree. All right. That's not as well attached as I would like, so I will squit some glue down in this little bow I have made right here, and then I'll trim this piece off that sticks out here to the side, because that's going to look a little weird even after paint. Okay, so chat locked up and voted for dental drill on the sound. Oh, you're having tech issues on other ends as well. So it's not just me. Okay, that makes me feel a little better, though I'm sorry you're having tech issues. I was talking about the bad weather there, but nothing inside or out is working right. Yeah, that weather can mess with all of that stuff. It's been cloudy and foggy here all day, so maybe that's, I don't know, but YouTube disconnecting itself from my streaming softwares, that's on YouTube. All right. Been AWOL on socials lately. Worked 60 hours. Woo! That's a week. That's a week. Okay, so that seems to be set. So I'm going to make sure to put some more glue in here just to make sure that we're grippy. And go ahead and nip that other piece off right now while I'm thinking about it. Oh, I overheated the glue that's on there, but that's all right. It'll hold. Okay, I'm going to need to glue that down a minute, but I'm going to sit that down and let that glue for that branch harden up first. Okay, so another one here. Okay, so I think what I'm going to start doing is just clipping these off at, whoops, flip it around, clipping these off at an angle with the nippers and gluing it on at that angle. And I think that will actually do what I need to do now. Wow, I got rid of all of the flat surface area on that, so that's not going to help. Mucho bettero. That was horrible Spanish. I apologize. I really do know some Spanish. I apologize to everybody Hispanic for what I just said. Actually, I don't remember what I just said. Bad something. But said it wrong. What's bad? Spanish. Mal? Mal is unwell. There's a word for bad that has, I don't remember it. It's been too long since I was studying it. I used to study it pretty regularly, but the app I was using started to, I was using the freebie version, and the freebie version became unusable. And it was more of a game anyway. I wasn't actually learning any more Spanish at that point. I was basically learning how to play the app, which wasn't what the app was allegedly designed for. And the app is ad funded, so it was just trying to keep eyes on the app, which I understand that, but I wasn't learning. So that's why I quit. It's not like the app, ticked me off or anything. The app, the app company ticked me off or anything. It's not like they did anything I'm horribly morally opposed to or anything like that. I just wasn't getting the benefit. So I stopped using that app and never picked up another one. I probably should, but I don't want to throw any shade on them. Like I said, they didn't really tick me off any other than just there was no, the benefit analysis to me did not involve me spending any more time doing it. And I quit after a 2,300 day streak, or 3,200, 2,300. So I had done it every day for 2,300 days, and then was just like, yeah, even 100 sounds like a good place to stop. And I just walked away, deleted the app, never looked back. Another little spludge of hot glue here for the mooring down of this tree. Okay. Swap those around. I can get to them easier. Another little spludge. Oh, that's at a slight angle, but that's all right. I like it. Jaunty. That's not okay. Trees don't really jaunt unless they're ints, but we're gonna say it's at a jaunty angle just because I like that saying. Glue that one down. We're gonna hold it for a second so it doesn't fall over because it's already at an angle. As chilly as it has been lately, you would think that this stuff would set up really quick, but it's actually not that chilly here in the basement. From where I'm sitting, behind me, and to that end is 2 solid walls of dirt. I'm in a basement way in the corner, so there's dirt on 2 sides. This way, that whatever. On that side, there's a half a wall of dirt. So I'm surrounded on 2.5 sides with dirt, and I'm way back in the corner of the basement anyway. So I actually have a fan on right now, and I've never needed a heater or an air conditioner in here because it always stays temperate. Okay, so I like that bough, but it needs more branches. So, oh, good. If I put it that way, then it will sit out at an angle. These are all facing the wrong way, but at least the branchy part. I can always add more pieces to this later. I can come by after the fact and just glue on more small branches with the hot glue. Or glue on wire and then bend it to where I want it to be a branch. And then if you need to fluff it out to where the wire looks like a branch, you can always bulk wire up with hot glue. Just run beads of hot glue along it. Just you got to like run a bead along it, give it long enough to sit so that it, when you run the next bead along it as you're bulking it up, it doesn't remelt the first bead. Okay. Okay. Slight angle on this one. Hey, look, I put the glue on camera this time. What craziness. I like this because it's got this one long spindly branch that's out here, but it's actually fairly sturdy. Not super sturdy, but once I've got other foliage and stuff on it, it'll be good. I'm going to take this one. Nope. I take this one since all the branches are on one side, and I'm going to put that here, but it doesn't really want to sit out from the tree, so I'm just going to sand this off at an angle. I've been using these sanding sticks. These are literally just paint stirrers with sandpaper glued on them. It's actually a sticky back. It doesn't matter, but it's basically just glued on sandpaper. And I've been using them so long that my sandpaper's losing a lot of its grit. So I need to remanufacture these or start a new set of these or something. That is not going as fast as I was hoping. Will the saw work on it? We have already had issues with the saw tonight, so this may or may not work. Oops, just broke off my branch. So let's not do that again, because that defeats the dang purpose. Where did that come from? Right there. Okay. All right, so we're going to take that and just consider it done, I guess. And I need... Well, I can work with that. This can be a hefty, chunky tree, but that's all right. All right. That's going to run not quite a straight line up this. This part I said I liked and was going to keep is going to end up being completely covered. So I guess that was all kind of pointless to save that particular branch, but yeah, whatever. At least I did it on camera again, twice in a row. The guy in metal. So I have said this before, but I'm here to inspire people on what to build. I am not a how to build. So anytime you're looking at this and you're like, I can't believe he did that. He put that on at that weird angle, and yeah, that's fine. Do it better. Do it different. Show me. You're like, look, you were dumb. You did it this way, and I did it this way. And I'll be like, yeah, that's awesome. Your stuff looks cool. Because we are all in it together. I'm using way too much hot glue on these bases. But like I said, this will peel off of the cardboard, still be attached to the tree, and will eventually become part of the base once I glue this onto a piece. These will not be free floating. These will be like next to a house or in a park or something like that. I guess you wouldn't really call it a park in a medieval type fantasy city, but the town center greenery area. Cool off. You're trying to fall over. I know you are. Okay. So I'm going to take this one last one, and I'm going to take these two branchy branches and stick them on either side of it. And preferably at a slight angle so they stand out from each other. There we go, just like that. And they're not as sticky outy as I'd like. Maybe I can put them on it. Yeah, that'll work. Slight angle there. See, when I'm doing it, I'm not just aligning it. You got to find the little rough spots in the tree where the two pieces sort of nestle into each other and fit just right, like right there. This won't work, but this is good. I can't show you that, but I just know how it feels. Then I look at where that glue is going to go, and I put the glue right there on where that's going to go. And then I take that piece, and now I got to figure out that little feel again. Though, to be honest, the hot glue is doing a lot of that heavy lifting for me, but I can make it. Yeah, there it is, right there. Oh, that grabbed really well. I don't know if y'all can see this, but there's a fat spot on this branch that nestled into an indent right above this knot. So that fit together really well. I like it. And this is going to do the same thing. This curve here, it's right around, I don't know if you can see, but this is not round. It's kind of got a ridge right here, and it fits right around that ridge. So that's going to fit right there. Oh, okay, what are we doing? Could you maybe use dried vines to make different types of trees? Yeah, you can use dried vines. You can use, a lot of times, life-size roots look great as miniature trees. So especially things from like berry roots, like raspberry and blackberry roots, those can make very good trees. Some of these are, I don't know if you can see, are juniper, and those they're very branchy. So these particular parts of the juniper are from way inside, not outside where all the greenery and such is, but inside where that branches out from. That's where these were trimmed from, because we had to cut down a section of one. So that was I didn't have anything to do with that. I literally just went out and picked up the sticks after. But the housemates here at the house did that. So I'm thinking I could maybe add another little piece on this side, but I think I'm not gonna. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and say that's gonna be a skinnier tree. And that has a piece sticking out. It's not letting it sit right. So I am just gonna throw branches across the table. That'll be fun. I'm taking nippers and nip that little piece off, and it should. I'm gluing myself to the trees again. I speak for the trees, and I say, stop gluing yourself to us. That'll work. Okay. Then we'll put that just like that. As I said, a little spludge down there. And I think I'm going to do one more tree because I can make it fit there, and maybe another one because I think I can fit one over there. So we will go through the box again because I've sort of run out of I can't speak. Run out of branches over here. Ooh, I have to make a big fat one. A little bit fatter than any of the ones I've used earlier. Okay, so I got that. That one. That's kind of cool because it's kind of gnarled shaped and flat enough to glue down if I sand it. Okay. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I like that. So we're going to glue. This looks like it'd be good, but it's too flimsy and brittle. I know this would snap immediately. I don't know if you can see. It's flexible, but it's not sturdy. So trade off these branches. Sometimes they're great. Sometimes they are not as rough and tumble ramshackle as we would like. So right now I'm looking for little trees I can glue on as branches. That won't work. They've got to be small so they look like what's the picture I have in my head, but they got to be sturdy enough that they're not going to break when they're on there. Oh, okay. I've got a bunch of them in here. I just got to dig through the brittle parts to get to the other ones. I kind of wish I had a action cam, you know what I'm talking about, so that I could attach to my head so I can do stuff like that. Oh, okay, so we're going to take that and put that way, and we're going to attach this here. I'm going to do just like this. And take that, put that there. We're going to let that one cool for a minute while I go on to the next one. Next one's going to have this one go. Ah, that fits right there. No, but it doesn't stick out. It follows the. All right. This one. This one's already got a curve in it. That's why I kind of liking it. So I'm trimming it to get a little better glue adhesion. Now, if I attach that right. Actually, the angle this is at, I can attach this pretty much wherever I want because the glue is going to be doing all of the heavy lifting on that one. Okay, but I think I'm going to put that next to that knot. Take a second to cool down enough so that it doesn't want to bend when I let go. Could you make use of dried vines as trees? Yeah, you can totally make dried vines, like I said, roots, whichever. A lot of like, if you got like old electric plugs, like old 2-prong extension cords that you shouldn't use anymore. Shouldn't have used them back then, but we didn't know any better. You can split those apart, and if the copper in them is strong enough, or if they're really old, if the aluminum inside them is strong enough, you can twist those into tree armatures. So yeah, you can make trees out of all sorts of stuff. The channel, I don't think she's done a video on them lately, but the channel Scattered Terrain has recently been posting some pictures on various discords of she's making trees in the old not old, like 3 or 4 years old style that I cannot remember the name of his channel. Anyway, the ones with the pipe cleaners where you bend it into shape, and then to get it to look like wood and bark, you melt it with a heat gun or a candle or something like that, so that it all the pipe cleaners go from fuzzy to looking like gnarled, knobby wood, because the fibers on the pipe cleaners sort of shrink up and bond around the wire that's inside them, and they can look very realistic as trees as well. So Meredith's trees from Scattered Terrain are coming out very nicely. Though I believe, I may be wrong, I believe she is going for a dead-looking, knobby-looking thing. I don't know that hers are going to actually have any vegetation on them. So I don't know. I'm overdoing it on this, and I can tell that I just reheated my glue with my glue, which means the first glue wasn't fully set yet. So I'm going to set that one down and go back to the other one. Like that. So we'll take that, put a little bead right where I was just holding that at. And like I said, this glue is doing all of the lifting on this, so I am just kind of squidging it where I think it should go and making some branchy outy bits. That's right. I said branchy outy. I don't know. I just make stuff up as I go along. We're going to attach that one there, but in a minute after we make sure this one's good. Okay, you're good enough. Okay, I'm going to put this one here. Nope. I'm going to sand that one off. Then put that here and call that one done, because at that point it will look like that. Be branched out a little. And yeah, so that's interesting. My broadcasting software disappeared off my screen for a minute. I couldn't see what I was doing. I had to watch my YouTube feed to make sure I was still in the right spot. Ah, technology. Always a weirdness. Yeah, I didn't sand that enough. What I need on these sanding sticks really is a rougher grit. These don't really dig through the wood very well. So, but I think I got it now. I'm going to attach this thusly. All right, and I left some glue in my own way there, so I'm going to melt that real quick with the nib. And then run that new bead there. I'm going to take that piece that I sanded off and that into that so that it sticks out at an angle from the back, from the trunk. There we go. Trying to push it into the glue without actually gluing myself to another tree tonight. Okay, so that one's good to go for now. Once that's set up, I'll glue it standing up. This one's already got a nice curve to it, so it'll stand out, so I don't need to sand this or anything. That one's going to attach right here. And then I'm probably going to attach another one or two to this tree. I don't know that I really need to, because the thing I'm sticking on is going to be a big clump of stuff. So I don't know that I really need to, but I will probably end up doing so. That was way more glue than I needed. And I probably did that off camera. I wasn't checking because I keep doing that tonight. I don't know why. Usually pretty good about remembering to be on camera with stuff, but tonight, I think it's just because I got off to the bad start and I'm all discombobulated. All right. Pretty good. I think I'm going to leave that one. So let's sit that. Ah, no. Exactly the wrong way. Okay. Okay, I glued myself to another tree. Y'all saw it. Okay, set that one there. And take you. Push this out the way. Go here. Now, just so you know, I wanted to drill a bunch more of these out and attach pieces in different ways, but I didn't want to make y'all have to sit through that noise again. Oh yeah, let's do this on camera. I mean, this isn't exciting. I'm literally just putting a blob of glue and sticking a stick into it. But YouTube is a video platform, so let's be on video. Like I said, these will not be staying in this nice row on the cardboard. This is just to get them built. Okay, are you set up? Yes. Okay, so we are going to take you. One more last blob right here. And these would go much faster if I was not talking about them and if I was not actually trying to pad time. Basically, I was trying to fill this board, but only this board. So I've been going slower than I normally do just to keep y'all entertained, which is, perfectly valid thing. Okay, so that is it, really. I needed way less wire than I thought. Now, these I do keep because a wire is a wire is a wire, so I can always use those again later. So that's going to go in my wire drawer. Put this back in my package of unused paper clips. back in my little wire drawer. Close that. These going back to my branch thing. These are 2. This one is 2. This, I can always get more stuff like this, so I don't keep this as rubble because I can walk out my back door and grab more branches. Plus, I've got this and then a whole banker's box size box of other branches somewhere else. So those are not getting kept. But I do not think that tiny little bits of bark are the worst thing ever in the landfill. So, plus, actually, everything that goes in that bin is paper, plastic, or wood. So that all goes for recycling anyway. Now, do they actually recycle it? I don't know, but I do my part. Okay, now these other parts, these will end up in my wood rubble jar, wherever I've got it. Y'all have seen that before, but let me go ahead and grab that and I'll show you. Yep, so I keep all of my offcuts of lumber and wood and such like that in here. No reason that can't go right in there with it. I like to keep my space free of grit, so get rid of that real quick. All right. Now, the one thing I don't like about this tool is you can't put it in the box with a bit. No matter what the bit is, it's too long because this goes right to the end of that. So you always have to take the bit out of it. Now, this drill bit, I don't know if y'all can see that. See how black and dark that is? That's because it was dull. It was literally burning its way through that wood. So this bit is going to go in the trash. But like I said, it won't actually fit in here. It would be in the way of the thing shutting. So you push this little button until the thing clicks into place and won't spin anymore. And then this one, that's going in the trash. That's not going in that recycling with that. I have a metal recycling in the other room. So now this will fit in here. And just like that. Make sure the wrench is in there. I don't know if you can see that it opens up. This is where there's some of the stuff kept. So this is really good. I highly recommend this. Like I said, not sponsored or anything. I got this at Aldi. They are normally about 25, and I got this one for about 12. I think it was like 60% off or something like that. Just the household items, not food or anything. It was just weird that the time that I went specifically because I knew that Aldi had been carrying these and went for this, I happened to get it on sale. So yay me. Gotta love it when a plan accidentally comes together. Well, comes together, whether it's an accident or not. All right, and then I'm going to put up my saw I was using earlier. Put that down there. And put my little guy. I still cannot figure out what I did to his little horn antler thing on his helmet. But now it just looks like battle damage. It's all good. Put him up there with my other stuff. So you see, get a good up close view. Like I said, all of these things where it just looks like, well, it's just a stick stuck to it. Yes, it is. But once it's got foliage on it and everything like that, once it's painted to cover the shiny of the hot glue and all that, then once this is plunked on a table and has the foliage on it, you'll never notice that. So don't be afraid to just sort of slap things together that you need handled, because a lot of times they will come out looking good enough at what usually people say tabletop height or table ready. I like to use the phrase, I don't know where I picked this up. I didn't invent it, but I like to use the phrase 3 foot fabulous. If it looks good at 3 feet, it's fine. I was going to try to show you another tree. I know I had one over here, but I don't know where it went. I did reorganize some stuff the other day, so maybe I put it up. Crates, barrels, piers, docks, windows. None of those have foliage in them. Somewhere. I'm going to wander away for a second. Y'all should still be able to hear me, but just in case, I'm coming back. Okie dokie. Let's see, somewhere in here I have a bunch of... got a house and it's got a tree with it. And I was going to show y'all what they end up looking like, but I don't know that I can find it. So I don't know if y'all can still hear me, but you should be able to hear me now. Luckily, this is a radio frequency mic, not a Bluetooth mic, so it's got a little bit longer range. But I cannot immediately lay hands on that house and tree. Oh, yes, it did. Look at me go. So once it's got foliage on it, this is just a fiber fill and then coated heavily with glue and flocking. And it comes out looking like that. So this is what these trees will look like eventually. If you've seen my diorama I did for a challenge a couple years ago where I did a shrine out in the woods, those are the same. Those trees are built exactly like this tree. Now this one's got a different trunk. This trunk is made with twine and rope that's just hot glued together. And you can see from the trunk, I put a lot of hot glue into this, and I don't suggest that anymore. This one, I think, may have had a piece of dowel rod in it, and I may have bulked it up from then, but that uses up lots and lots and lots and lots of hot glue. That's why I'm preferring to do it this way now. But these trees will come out looking, the greenery on them will come out looking just like this, but there will be more space underneath them because I'm specifically building these trees taller by intent. I don't know if you can, there we go. You can see that these trees behind will actually be about 2 to 3 inches taller than this one. So yeah, let me switch this light off here and then switch that camera there, and then I'll tell you all good night and see you off. Okay, there's that light gone. Okay. Whew. I've got more grit all over my table. Okay, switch cameras. Okay, so the night started off rough. You have no idea. I had spent literally 35 to 40 minutes right before the stream reconfiguring. So I was a little stressed. I apologize for that. I know I was gruff when I first came on. But all ended well. So all's well that ends well, and it did. So that's good. I have some trees going here. Let me know, because I can take these off of here and put them on individual pieces of cardboard, or I can just cut these apart and make them to where they'll stand. Let me know if you want me to go into the greenery and the foliage and stuff for next week, or if you want me to do a different thing entirely. You can either leave that in a comment after the stream, or preferably come to my Discord, because I'm more likely to catch it there and remember it there. So please, hit the Discord, links in down below. Yeah, I keep looking off to the side, forgetting that we're not on this camera anymore, and you can actually see me, and I should make eye contact. So, like I said, this is not a how-to. This is a how-I. I just want to inspire people to do stuff like this. I love all sorts of miniature stuff. I find it very cutesy. It hits all those little warm and fuzzy feelings in me, and I like little stuff. So, I also happen to like gaming, so that's good. That's why I do this. But if you're into any of that stuff, like fairy gardens or book nooks or any of that, come hang out on the Discord. We talk about stuff like this all the time, and I can put you in touch with other crafters if you'd like as well, and we can deal with it there. But yeah, we're all in this together, and I like hanging out with other people that are like-minded and talk about crafty stuff. So yeah, this is Campaign Terrain. It's usually pretty chill. Sorry about the way I started off tonight. And I'm your host, That Guy Cross. Welcome to the basement. I try to broadcast from here every Sunday night. I say broadcast because I'm old. So stream from here every Sunday. And always glad to have you. If you're here for the first time, welcome. If you're here for the second to 1,000th time, you're one of my returning campaigners, and I love each and every one of you. So whether you're new or returning, just know that we're all in it together. I feel for you. I know the times can be weird, and yeah, that's it. So love you. Until next time, I wish you luck. in your campaign, whether it's in real life or here on the table. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out, especially after my rocky start tonight. And I'll see you next time. You have a great night.